This episode really felt like a Dragon Ball episode. Not to be mistaken for Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super. I'm talking about the OG Dragon Ball. This episode reminded me a lot of that, because there was some tropes and comedy and all of that used throughout this episode that reminded me a lot of the original Dragon Ball. And then there was also some shoutouts to some old techniques that we haven't seen in a very long time, like Tien's move to, Roshi's move. There was some techniques they used throughout this episode that we just haven't seen since the Dragon Ball days, and I was just truly surprised about this episode and bringing some of these old techniques back again. It really puts a smile on my face to just see how the writers haven't forgotten about, these techniques from Dragon Ball era. But besides all of that, though, this episode, I have to say, and I will be brutally honest, it was probably the weakest episode yet of this arc. And the reason for that is because, in all honesty, I like Roshi, I love Tien, I love their characters, I love them a lot. I'm glad they're getting the spotlight again, but this episode, I just didn't really like it that much. I really didn't. And the reason for it is because I felt like some of the things that was done in this episode, it felt too drawn out. And I felt like the conflict could have been handled in, relative ease, but it did not. And Master Roshi, I love his jokes, I love his perverted side and all that. It was just same old Master Roshi, especially when he was talking to girls like, here, I want to get rid of your wickedness and all that. It's stuff that he has done throughout the series of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and the OG Dragon Ball. He's always done this, and seeing that once again, it was pretty funny and enjoyable, but I felt like it was overused throughout this episode, and in a lot of ways, I was even more surprised with how Tien lost to Master Roshi. That's what got me. I'm like, okay. Now, from the explanation we get in this episode, is that Master Roshi has been training in secret. That's what's stated. And Master Roshi was using his true power. He's always held back, whatever. Now he was using his real power against him because he was, he was bewitched. He couldn't do anything. He was under control. And so he was using his power to fight. And Tien was fighting him, and eventually Master Roshi basically beat him. And I'm thinking to myself, like, really? Like, okay. I mean, yes, Tien's a human. So is Master Roshi. So technically, since Master Roshi he was a really good martial artist in the past, if this man really did focus on training, he would become very strong. I'm not going to say he wouldn't. However, just thinking about everything and thinking about Tien and what he has done and how he held back Cell in, the Cell Saga, and then he kind of tried to hold back, Super Buu. It just surprised me that Master Roshi was able to do something like that to Tien. I mean, in a way, you could chop it up as maybe just Tien underestimated Master Roshi. He just let his guard down, and that's kind of why he got his ass kicked, which that would explain a lot, because, I mean, that's what happened to Gohan when he was fighting Krillin. When Gohan got the shit knocked out of him by Krillin, it was because Gohan underestimated Krillin. He fought Krillin since he was really weak, he didn't have that much power, that Krillin wouldn't be able to do anything, and Gohan thought he could just win the fight because of raw strength. And maybe that's kind of what this fight is chopped up to. Just, letting us know that Tien underestimated Master Roshi, didn't really expect much from him, and he got his ass beat. That's the way you can look at it. But regardless, though, like I said, this is definitely one of the weakest episodes of Dragon Ball Super to date, in my personal opinion. I'm not saying it's an awful episode, like, it's not atrocious, but there was just some things about it I just personally did not like. And I mean, when it comes to the entire event with, just the way this girl was introduced, all that, I like that. I like that part. That was one of the redeeming parts of this episode, how she was introduced and she has this connection to Tien, that was like a flashback to Tien's school and all that, and I'm like, oh man, that's some really nice stuff, this characterization and all that, and getting to see, Tien have this connection to this girl and how she's gonna be training underneath him. That's some good stuff right there, but I was hoping it was gonna be launched, but that didn't happen, as we can see. But still, I'm glad to see some of the things in this episode that were done, like the girl getting introduced, Tien Tien, seeing how he is like a teacher, how he is training people on Earth. That's some good stuff. That's stuff I'd like to see, because it really fits with Tien's character. Everything we have seen from Tien throughout, you know, the original part of Dragon Ball, to throughout the Frieza saga, Saiyan saga, and all that, to Cell saga, and then Buu saga, Tien's always focused on training. He was even training in the Buu saga, so it's obvious over time, from what we have seen throughout the journey of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball, he would be a lot stronger, and also he could actually fit the teacher role because of who he is. So him teaching, you know, these students and all that of how to use their power or whatever, I really appreciate that aspect about this episode. That was a redeeming quality to this episode. However, I was just, like I said, very surprised that Master Roshi beat Tien. And as I said, it could be chopped up for the possibility of just underestimating Master Roshi. But still, I was just like, that doesn't sit too right with me. I could go so far, only so far with kind of justifying some certain things, but that kind of bugs me a little bit. But anyways, though, let's talk about the Saiyans, the female Saiyans. Now, yes, I meant female Saiyans, not just one, but, you know, multiple. So, it's been going around, and I guess this could be kind of considered a spoiler, so FYI, this might be a spoiler. It was basically told to me on, you know, Twitter, and I kind of want to relay the information, because it was clarified to me, and you do get to see this character already, like in the opening song, if I'm correct. I could be wrong there, but basically, on Twitter, I was told that it has been revealed that, you know, Khalifa, you know, that female Saiyan that was introduced in last week's episode, well, that is not the female Broly, so we were all correct. Like, okay, so the design we saw for the previous girl that transformed into female Broly, that was the proper design. The girl we see in this episode, or in the last episode or whatever, she is someone completely different. So, it seems like Universe 6 is actually going to have two female Saiyans on their side. Now, here's the spoiler part about this. So, apparently the other girl, the other female Saiyan that's going to be joining, her name is, like, Kel. So I'm thinking, like, okay, so we have Cauliflower now, and now we have Kel. Like, are you... like, what? Yo, what? Like, so, we have the female Broly, which is called Kel, and then we have this girl, Khalifa, which is basically Cauliflower. So, I just, wow, the naming sense always gets me when it comes to Dragon Ball. It stuns me with how it's always done. But, yeah, basically, to get to the main point, though, is that, yeah, it's been revealed that Khalifa is not the female Broly, and the other girl we got introduced in the trailer and all that, that apparently is still the design for the female Broly. It's just there's two female Saiyans joining Universe 6. So, yeah, that's about it. I mean, this episode, besides that, that's basically what it was about. It was an okay episode. It wasn't amazing by any means, but, yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.